Hey guys, welcome on board the ship that will take us to the island of cool teachers. My name is Annette, and in this video we will learn to teach using global topics. So today we will focus on global development education. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, here is a little hint. People all around the world struggle with lots of serious problems like hunger, poverty, wars, lack of water, lack of quality healthcare, injustice, violence, polluted environment, and so on. Moreover, population is rising and these issues are becoming bigger and bigger threat. However, the important fact is that we can do something with it. If we change our daily behavior, and because we can't teach an old dog new tricks, we have to start with the youngest ones, our students. For the big international organizations like the United Nations or the Council of Europe, global topics are the main priority in education. So they came up with so-called Sustainable Development Goals. So in the following lessons, we will teach English while focusing on these goals. Now some information for us teachers. You will be given instructions for 3 lessons of 45 minutes. Each lesson will be aimed at a different language level. The first lesson is suitable for A2 level. It is focused on practicing of the first conditional. As for the Sustainable Development Goals, we will aim at number 14. The second lesson is suitable for B1 level. It is focused on reported speech and use of to, enough, so, such, and repeating of a modal verb should. As for the Sustainable Development Goals, we will aim at number 2. The third lesson is suitable for B2 level. It is focused on passive voice. As for the Sustainable Development Goals, we will aim at number 15. But of course, everything is linked, so we will get to the other topics as well, not only those I've just mentioned. So let's dive in our global village. Bring a plastic straw to your class and show it to your students. Ask them what it is and if it can be dangerous and how. Then let them watch this video. It's about a turtle found during a research expedition in Costa Rica, and this turtle had a straw stuck in her nostrils. After watching, elicit students' reactions, feelings and comments on the video. Divide your students into groups according to their language level and hand out the infographics about the issue of plastic waste in the ocean. Each group should have different infographics depending on their skills. Give them 5 minutes to read it and allow them to use a translator so they really get the point. Let your students choose a speaker of each group and then ask them to present the most important or surprising facts from the infographics. Now write on the board 2 words, cause and consequence, and draw your students' attention back to the problem of single-use plastics. Ask them what the causes and the consequences of this issue are. Write their ideas on the board as well. For example, using single straws, see animals suffering. After that, you will continue in 2 steps. The first one will be making judgments in the first conditional. For example, if people don't use single straws, sea animals will not suffer. The second step will be conversion into a positive judgment. It means they have to suggest a solution. For example, if people use bamboo straws instead of the plastic ones, sea animals will not suffer. Then elicit more judgments like this based on the ideas on the board. Now give them the worksheet and ask them to work on the exercise 1 by the same way as you demonstrated on the board. It means to write possible causes and consequences to each problem and make positive judgments in the first conditional. Give them enough time to think deeply and allow them to use the internet for searching details related to the issues. The next activity is called Square. Tell your students to stand up and imagine they are in the square full of their neighbors. Ask them to walk around the square and share their ideas, the positive judgments they made, with the passers-by, and write down those that are new for them. The last activity will be setting a personal goal and making a promise board together. Let your students state their own goal that will be SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. For example, I will go to school by bike in the next 2 months, so I help to protect the environment in our town. Then ask your students to make a board or a poster with all their names and promises. Let them use their creativity and decorate it as they wish. Make sure there is a little space at each promise to make a tick or a cross according to their future success or failure. When the board is finished, place it on a wall. Now you can be proud of yourself that you made the first step towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Start the lesson with a video. This is a part of a film Tomorrowland, where Governor Knox talks about the character of nowadays society and the dark side of our civilization. Unfortunately, it's quite an accurate image of our world. However, the speech is thrilling enough to attract the students' attention after the break. After watching, ask students what the speaker says about our civilization and if they agree or disagree with him, and try to elicit reasons of their answers. Then hand out a script of the scene and let the students work on the first 2 exercises. After checking their answers, ask them to make pairs and discuss the questions in the 3rd exercise. Conclude the issue together. You should get to the point that if we want to keep the quality and quantity of our diet in future, we have to change our daily behavior. And about the concrete steps, how to do it, you will find out more in the next activity. The second activity will require a little bit of your preparation, because you will have to cut the paper with recommendations regarding responsible consumption and to spread them in a suitable place. It can be in the corridor or on the floor in the classroom. Divide your students into groups and give a blank paper to each. Their task is to read all the pieces of advice and write down if they are useful in order to have enough quality food for everyone in future and why. After going through all the recommendations, the groups should choose a speaker who will present the judgments. Give them a hand and write the phrases they can start with on the board. Let all the groups present and then comment on the results. Now it's time for grammar, because time to time you just have to fill in some exercise to fix new grammar. For this topic, I decided to integrate reported speech and use of the words to, enough, so, and such. For the last few minutes of the lesson, the students will be asked to make dialogues focused on the issue of the responsible handling with food, so their brain cells won't have a break till the end. To get your students' attention, play this video for them and stop it after 30 seconds. First, let them repeat what the orangutan did in the bedroom and try to elicit why it was probably there. Then play the video till the end. Evaluate your students' guesses. Write these 8 keywords and key numbers on the board. Tell your students to work in pairs, go through the key expressions, discuss, and write down how they could relate to palm oil. If you want to make it more interesting, hide the key expressions in the QR codes. It's very easy, you just type QR code generator in Google and you get lots of different pages where you can code your text into this magical image. I bet that most of your students will know how to decode it immediately. When they are finished with the ideas, divide them into 4 groups. Give 1 paragraph from the article about palm oil to each group to read it. Then ask the group speakers what it was about and what the key phrases they found in what context. Another activity can be done in pairs again. Remind them what a passive voice is, because the task will be to find all the forms of passive voice in the article and rewrite sentences using active voice. Each pair can check their sentences with the couple sitting behind or next to them. Now it's time for a competition. Let your students guess how many products containing palm oil are in your classroom right now. Write their guesses on the board and then let them read all the labels on their snacks, cosmetics, and check the ingredients of soap and other products in the room. Put it all together and count. I'm curious how many things you will find. You can write it in the comment below the video. And you can reward the student who managed to guess the closest number with a snack without palm oil. So we are almost in the end. I said almost because we skipped the first level, A1, in our lesson planning. But don't worry, there are various activities for the beginners as well. For example, you can make a calendar with seasonal fruits and vegetables, or write a recipe for a meal from local products, or make a poster with the instructions how to recycle different kinds of material. Now it's really the end. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video useful, subscribe below or leave a comment or like. See you guys!